Chris, how do you go about meeting people that you can network with and could be a potential resource for you to help you out and all that?
I had a lot of really cool people that have helped me, and I've also ran into people that were just complete jerks. They don't want to help you at all. This industry, in the print industry, a lot of people want to protect the knowledge and things that they know because we all know how much it cost us
For sure.
financially and time to get where we're at or to solve these problems.
All right, it is day two and 9:25 a.m. Woke up kind of late. I was so tired from yesterday. Didn't get lunch. Got so busy. But we did have a great dinner with a bunch of DTF printers. Some of them were already friends. Some of them became friends last night. So Mike is already in the show. I'm just waiting on Chris. He's going to be ready in a few minutes. But we're heading back there and checking out more other things that are happening. There's so much happening there. And while we're there, we're going to continue this conversation as well. The key. Good morning. How you doing today, man? You doing all right?
He looks like Don Francisco. He's like a personality.
Ah, yeah. Don Francisco? Muy guapo. Gracias, Don Fernando.
Francisco.
Don Francisco. Dude, that guy's pretty cool.
The guy, like
That was a good, unhealthy breakfast. The best breakfasts are unhealthy. But we're headed off to Orange County Convention Center for day two. My friggin' knee is hurting from all the walking yesterday. But you just gotta embrace the suck, like Chris says. So anyway, we're talking about like networking and how to get a group of people and how important it is for you to have a group of people that are going to be able to support and relate to you in business. But the thing is, people are just as busy as you, if not busier. For the most part, they're not going to have the time to help you solve your problems because they have their own problems. Unless if you have a very solid relationship with them and you're helping each other out, like Chris right here, Chris and me, we're helping each other out. And it stopped right now. Chris, how do you go about meeting people that you can network with and could be a potential resource for you to help you out and all that?
All right. So I addressed this in part one of this video, but I just started getting back to vlogging. So I'm sorry, the clips are going to be crap. The composition is going to be kind of bad. I'm still getting used to the camera again. The camera's the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 for those of you who are interested. But it has this like locking feature that, as you can see there, it just locks onto my face and it's going to start doing that here. So I'm sorry about that.
For sure. I always try to look for opportunities to be in the same room of people who are actually have achieved or done things that I would like to do or have already overcome certain challenges that maybe I'm facing or similar to ones that I could potentially be facing.
So yeah, try to get in the same rooms. Like last night, I told you about the dinner that we had. Some of these people are doing like multi-seven figures a year. They got like 7, 9 printers working 24 hours a day, which is crazy to me. We have 3 printers. I mean, for me, that's like, I felt like I was like, I'm doing it. And then we come across these people and no, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not there yet. Yeah, it's very humbling, but in a good way because you get a new North Star. That's where I want to be. But anyways, we got into that room because we already had friends, Mike White, that put that together. We've met some of them before online, but I've never had that level of depth of conversation about the business with them. What are the other things that you can do to get into the same room, whether that's a virtual room or a physical room? The first thing that I would recommend not doing is just cold emailing or cold calling or cold texting, putting a wrap.
All right, let me clarify something here. I do get a lot of emails and comments, and I reply to them. I reply to as many of them as I can. What I'm trying to say here is don't just go into their DMs and their comment section or send them an email saying, hey, what ink do you use? Or, hey, how do I improve my business or how do I make more money? You know, that's a very impersonal way of doing things, and it's sending the message of you just trying to get something from that person. Now, I feel like an effective way of doing cold emails and cold calls and all that stuff is just by reaching out and introducing yourself and telling them how much you appreciate them and how their content is helping you out, and just establish that relationship a little bit. I'm going to talk more about it later on in future videos about how to do sales in 2025. But the analogy here is you don't approach a woman in a bar, for example, or a guy and say, hey, do you want to marry me? You approach them very carefully because they don't know you. You do a little bit of small talk. You test if you're compatible, and then you ask them out for coffee or maybe a walk, and then a date, and then a dinner date. And then, you just have that little progression that's very natural and not forced. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about here.
Putting a random question comment on their social media, because like for me, I get a lot of these questions and I do answer them, but I might not be able to answer quickly because first of all, I don't know you, and I do answer them. But even when I do get to answer the questions, there's really no connection. Chances are I'm not going to remember who you are. I'm sorry, Chris, what do you think about that?
I think that you do have people that see, let's say you're providing value in a group or in a forum or whatever, and then you get some random person that messages you these things. And to me, like, a lot of it reminds me of when I started, right? I had a lot of really cool people that have helped me, and I've also ran into people that were just complete jerks.
Right.
They don't want to help you at all. This industry, in the print industry, it's a very jealous industry. So a lot of people want to protect the knowledge and the things that they know, because we all know how much it costs us financially and time to get where we're at or to solve these problems. And some people just approach you and they want a quick answer, and it's not quite like that. You have to nurture these relationships in order to really get some answers sometimes, because it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. So it's not, because a lot of people will just come to you for that information and then run with it, and then they won't ever talk to you again.
Right.
And then there's other people that actually are very sincere, and I've helped people out. And when I do help people out, it's because I want to. And I'm not saying or telling people to do this, but there's been cases where they've appreciated it enough to where they'll send me a tip or something, a cash out, and I'll tell them, hey, dude, that's not required, but I'll accept it because you're willing to bless me,
right?
Or because they value my time.
For sure.
Yeah.
That is so true. Like, Chris and I met. He didn't cold email me. He offered to pay me to work on his printer. He paid me $600 to do that. Bought him and his family lunch because I didn't really mind the 500 or the 600. But it was that gesture of him offering to do that. I was like, this guy's cool. And that was like, what, almost 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think more like 3.
More like 3, and now we're like friends.
Yeah, there was another opportunity that I had too, to be in the same room with a guy, and he made a comment, I think, on a social media one day. He goes, hey, if you want to get my attention, here's my cash app. So that's what I did. I wanted to be in the same room with him. I literally sent him like $25. And I go, hey, you mind if we do breakfast? And he made the time. The next day we went to go to and we did breakfast. We spoke for 2 hours. He goes, hey, when's the next meeting? And it's great. I mean, because you value these people's time, and these people are seasoned. And for us, it's the printing industry. It could be whatever industry, or even not even an industry. It could be a personal problem.
For sure.
That have overcome or done or gone through these things, because they can bring to the table many years of knowledge that it's going to cost you more time and energy and money than that $25 would have in a 30-minute meeting,
And that's how Chris and I got into the same room with these 7-figure, 8-figure printers. And that was like maybe, a year ago possibly, right? Yeah, a year ago in Fort Worth. And you'll see that on the Fort Worth vlog if you want to go back and watch it. But that was the start of it. Yeah, that's number 1. Just don't cold email and ask a question. But please, though, if you see this video and you're like, I want to connect with Gerald, I'm going to send him $25. Please don't do that. Don't do that, please. All right, we're in the show. Let's see what's different from yesterday. Buddy, okay. Have a good one. And another thing that I always kind of push Chris here to do, and what I would like really recommend to everyone is, start learning how to leverage social media. Do social media. And I know that it's not for everyone, but if you want the people in your industry to get familiar with you, even without knowing them, because the more that people see you on social media and you're talking about the things that they can relate to on social media, they feel that connection, even though you don't know each other yet. Like Mr. Darren over here with Butter Prints.
Got the butter.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well.
What's up, Merch Studio?
How's it
I'm your
going?
old neighbor, man. You're in California, right?
No, I'm in Texas. So I guess there's another merch studio there somewhere. They own merchstudioinc.com. Wow, there's a merchstudioinc.com.
That's crazy.
You can buy things like this one.
Oh, is that like a fisheye?
Yeah, the
type
fish.
thing? Yeah.
So you can go wider on that.
Okay.
And there you go. It's in vlog mode. You want to go talking head mode, you just do that. And like controls are super easy. I want to shoot Chris.
flip it
I want
around.
to shoot you.
Yeah.
And then there's like that should. I don't know if that has like tracking as well.
It
So-
does. It doesn't. The problem is when you try to do it without
Uh-huh.
like a phone attachment on it, it's really hard.
Oh,
The
really?
screen's so small.
This is a no-brainer, but I would wait on the 4
Okay.
for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? And it was really fun because, we were at different points of achieving the same goal, which is having a very successful DTF printing company. And if y'all that are watching here, if y'all think that we're killing it in the DTF game, man, we're nowhere close. We're nowhere close. Some of these people have like 9 printers printing 16 hours a day. Some of them are printing 24 hours a day. And it's very comforting to hear that even these, much bigger printing companies than we are, they're going through similar struggles. But of course, their solutions are different from ours because of the scale of their operation. Yes, man, I've learned so much in just one day. And having met all the people that I interact with online and have become friends online, finally being able to see them, meet them face to face and have personal conversations with them, that was epic. So it was worth it. How you guys doing? It's been a while. It is currently October 31st. Our goal was to make $1 million. We're 2 months into the end of the year and short by about $250,000. If you compare last year's sales to this year's sales, we've grown a little bit. We're 2 months into the end of the year, but I don't think we're gonna reach it. I don't think we're gonna reach $1 million this year.